Hey guys, and welcome back to FREEstyle Friday. It's your man, Mikki Campbell. Just here to have some more FREEstyle Friday fun. Hope you guys have had a great week. Thank you again for tuning into this show. This show is all about freestyle. Again, it's a play off my wrestling name, Mikki Free, and just kind of freestyle talking to you about trying to keep it lighthearted here. You know, we got so much going on right now, and I've really enjoyed since this show's inception. I've been talking about my wrestling career and telling funny stories about things that we experienced along the way and things that I personally experienced along the way, and friends and family and everything. And I was just thinking the other day, you know, I told you guys, if you saw the video about how I got started, it's kind of, I'm going to reiterate that story. You know, I was 12 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting in the living room with my dad watching the Jim Crockett promotion, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, which was a every Saturday thing for us. We would go, and there was a local restaurant in town. They actually sold hot dogs like 5 for $3. And Pop and me, we'd go get about 15 of those things. Sit around watching wrestling, slamming those hot dogs down, just enjoying it. And I remember telling my dad that one day I was going to be a tag team wrestler. And he kind of laughed at me, and I remember one Saturday, Animal from the Road Warriors bench pressed 500 pounds on TV, and I told him I was going to do that too. And I had this fascination with Dolly Parton and her attributes, and I told him that one day I was going to marry a woman that was blonde and kind of had semblances of Dolly Parton. Y'all watch your mouth now, don't talk about my wife. But anyway, I'm kind of happy that those things were able to come to pass for me. I was able to become a multiple tag team champion in several different organizations, and had a really enjoyable wrestling career. Had a lot of fun, made a lot of really good friends and people that I still consider to be friends and family to this day. But that's where the dream started. It all started when I was a young boy, and the reason for wanting to be a tag team wrestler is the Rock and Roll Express was so famous back then, and I grew up in a really poor area, pretty much, that you know, people didn't have a lot of money to spend on frivolous clothing and different things like that. I mean, we weren't eating mud sandwiches, but you know, we definitely weren't from the affluent side of the tracks, if you will. So I noticed, though, that all the girls in my neighborhood and all the girls at school seemed to have Rock and Roll Express t-shirts. And if you remember those guys, they probably aren't the two best looking guys in the world, but they were a tag team, and that made them popular. It made the girls like them. So that's where the dream of being able to find success and happiness started with me, was wanting to be a professional wrestler. And of course, Animal bench pressing that 500 pounds. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life, and I just wanted to be able to do that. And luckily, at one time, I had a South Carolina state record for a submasters class. I think I ended up with a 550 bench and hit a little bit more than that in the gym even. And I'm saying all this just to brag. I'm just trying to set the table for you for how wrestling started for me. So Rikki and I were best friends in high school, and we called ourselves the High School Horsemen. And if you guys remember the four horsemen back in the day, man, they would jump you in parking lots. They would jump you after the match. They'd jump you in the dressing room. They'd jump you at the bar. They'd jump you at the movie theater. They'd jump you at your grandmother's funeral if they had to. But they would find different ways to jump people, quote unquote. And they would leave them laying, you know, and they called it, they horsemened those guys. So Rikki and I started horsemaning people around school and around just wherever. When we were like 16 years old, we worked at Bilo. And if we caught you in the back room after the store closed or whatever, and we were in there stocking shelves or doing whatever, if we caught you in the back room, we would horseman you. We actually threw this one guy into a pallet of dog food, and he stuck like this upside down, wedged in the pallet of dog food, and we literally had to go in and pull him out. But there was this one incident, and there was a guy that worked with us, and we caught him in the break room one night. And there was a young lady sitting there, and this young lady was, she was our age, but she was that, like Mary Poppins, I guess you'd say, the goody two-shoes. I mean, she was always just a really, really good girl. She was a very Christian girl. And she would spend her break times listening to Christian music on her headphones back then, and just, you know, stayed to herself, and was just a really good girl. But anyway, we caught this guy in the break room, and Rikki and I came around the corner, and we horsemaned him. And we ended up put him in position for a spike piledriver into a chair. One of the folding chairs that was in the break room, by the way, it was ridiculous. So anyways, we do this, and we hit the move on the guy, And no, we weren't trained wrestlers by any stretch of the means of imagination. We were only 16 years old, but man, we had studied that game, and there was a little bit that we knew well enough to know ourselves how to do without hurting somebody, and we had figured this thing out and practiced it on each other enough to get it right. But anyway, so we didn't hurt the guy, but he jumps up, and the girl just happened to be laughing. I don't even think I think she was oblivious to everything that was going on around her. I don't even think she was paying him any attention. For whatever reason, a smile came across her face, more of a smile, less than a laugh. And the guy slapped her. Like, he slapped her beside her head like that, and he said, "What are you laughing at?" That didn't go over too well for me. So long story short, that turned into an altercation between me and this guy. So he goes out, and he tells the boss, of course, and the boss, he's the customer service manager. He's going to try to handle it. So he doesn't really want to stir any rifts or whatever, because he really liked Rikki and me, and we really did a really good job at what we did, but we just wouldn't stop Horsemen and people. We couldn't stop playing. We thought we were Horsemen, the high school Horsemen. So he kind of kept it down. Well, long story short, the guy goes home and tells his dad. His dad comes up the store, and he's wanting to challenge Rikki and me. When the store manager meets him at the door and explains to him that we're not really the typical 16-year-old kid that you're thinking about. Rikki and I were both pretty big kids at 16, and he said, you probably don't want to confront them with the attitude that you got right now. We could overhear this thing going on. And so he tells the guy he'll handle it. So he comes to me and Rikki, calls us in the office, and he's like, "I can't believe, why would you do that?" And we were like, we were just playing with him, but then he slapped that girl, and, you know, that just wasn't cool. So she had nothing to do with it, yada, yada, yada. The guy says, "Well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to fire either one of you, and you guys have got to learn that you can't play all the time, so I'm going to suspend you for a week." And I remember Rikki and I both looked at each other like, "You going to suspend us for a whole week?" He says, "Yeah, you suspended for a week." And we looked at each other, we were like, it's spring break. So anyways, we got all of spring break off, and of course we didn't get paid anything, but we were off for spring break. We were able to go to the lake every day and chill out and have a good time, so we enjoyed that. But in order for us to be able to come back to work, we had to bring our own toothbrush in and clean the bathroom tile grout with our own toothbrush on third shift the last weekend of spring break before he'd let us come back to our work schedule. So we kept our job, and we did Horseman that guy, and there are a ton of other high school Horseman stories that I'll probably share with you guys on this show. Rikki and I just really believed that we were going to be pro wrestlers at a very early age, and we tried to live the gimmick, if you will, and we really enjoyed it, and we had a good time doing it. We didn't ever hurt anybody for real. That was really the only altercation that ever became somewhat physical, and it wasn't a bad physical altercation. And if the guy wouldn't have slapped that girl, it would have all just been in fun and games anyway. So that's what we're out here to do, right? Have fun. Freestyle Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, got a kick out of it and a laugh out of it. If you can paint that picture, two bag boys at Bilo, Spike pile driving a kid through a steel chair in the break room, and then getting suspended for a week of spring break and having to use their own toothbrush to clean grout in the public bathrooms to be able to keep their job. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Some people get over it, some people do the job, and some people go on to win the world. God bless you guys again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. Hey, if there's anything you want to hear me talk about, shoot me a comment below. Let me know. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. That really helps me build up my audience. As you guys know, I want to entertain with Freestyle Friday, but I do a show on Tuesdays called Transformation Talk Tuesday. That's my life passion right now. I love helping people overcome obstacles and achieve the transformation they're looking for in their body, mind, and spirit. My information is always free. I try to be pertinent and valuable, and if I can help you out in any way, shoot me a message, let me know. I got your back. We're in this together, right? You guys have a blessed day. Thanks again.